Good afternoon, everyone. Today is August 6th, and I would like to call to order the Anchorage Advisory Committee. It is 2:30 p.m. Let's do the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Let's start with you.
Ed Schoonover. Ted Hallwell.
Chris King.
Sam Lurie.
John Wesley Nash.
Jennifer Russ.
Jim Adderholt.
Curtis Ludwig.
And our guest speaker.
Frankie Kropotchak.
Okay. We are missing Ron Fleming today. He is excused with a doctor's appointment. Public comment. I see no one for public comment. So let's go to approval of the minutes from our May 27th meeting. Do I have a motion to approve?
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes.
All right. We have a motion from John Wesley Nash. Do we have a second?
Second, Hallwell.
All right. Any discussion? Any questions about what's in the minutes? No? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Minutes approved unanimously. All right. First agenda item is staff report and updates. Do you want Frankie to go first?
Now I can go over, what I have first, and then bring in Frankie, for the questions you have.
So, Curtis, you handed out a few things for us.
I did. So I created this report, and it just goes over the overview of the mooring field and maritime, and what we have going on and where we're at with certain things. So I just want to highlight a few things that we have accomplished since the last time we have talked, and what we have upcoming. So first things first, mooring ball 47. There was a wreck on that ball. It's been there for about a year now. That is finally gone and removed. Ball 47 is not back in order yet because that whole system got destroyed and removed with the wreck. So we have an RFP going out for the maintenance of the mooring field. So once that gets assigned, we have the maintenance done. They will install all 47 back. Just a few updates. So we installed the yellow special purpose buoys around the mooring field. So the entire mooring, all three fields have the yellow special purpose buoys labeling the mooring field now. We are in build of our new boat right now, and we have paid for that 50%. We will pay for the other half at the end of the bill. So I'm excited about that. Expecting that probably to be done in probably another 3 to 4 months. We should have the boat. Next topic is the dinghy dock. The dinghy dock, I just got word, are the extensions to the pilings. They just came in. They are decking the deck of the dinghy dock right now. That'll be in the manufacturer's hands next week, and by Friday I should have a date of installation for the dinghy dock. So those are our big items we have going on right now. We have closed the debris removal contract for the canals. have submitted for reimbursement for that through the FEMA program. So
How much is that?
that is estimated around, I believe, I think just shy of under 2 million. If I'm correct.
200,000?
No, 2 million.
2 million? Okay, sorry.
Is that just for residential debris removal in the back, in the water in the back bay, or
In the canals that we.
just the canal? So 2 million is to clean out the canals.
Correct. And then also we are working for the Coconut Boat Ramp to get that repaved. We're in discussion about that right now. So hopefully we can push that through as well.
Does that 2 million include the removal of sunken and derelict and abandoned vessels? That
No.
does not include the
Does not.
removal.
No, this is all from the storm from Helene and Milton of last year. What that 2 million was from.
Any idea how that compares to what we took out and what we got reimbursed for canal cleanup after Ian? Is this a fraction?
No,
of
I
it?
do not. I do not know the comparison to that. Okay. And then myself, the town manager, and the deputy town manager met with the CO at the Coast Guard station about 2 weeks ago. We talked about hurricane pre-readiness, and along with discussion about getting the 6 mooring balls up front, mooring balls 4 through 9, back into service. We have a new captain at the port at the sector, so we're hoping we have a clean slate to be able to get some movement on that. We're also talking with our Army Corps of Engineers on some other projects to see if we can group that in at the same time to realign the channel. So we're kind of working our way through that stuff right now, but hopefully we're going to get some headway moving soon on those.
Yes, sir.
So they were shut down by USCG,
Correct.
but they can only be moved under approval of Army Corps of Engineering.
No, it has to come from approval of the Coast Guard, but the Army Corps of Engineers will give the Coast Guard the information and surveys
Okay.
for that stuff.
Coast Guard can
So
approve.
it's really, I mean, the Coast Guard's going to have the overall say, but the Army Corps is going to be involved in it as well.
Okay. But the Coast Guard can approve and execute the move or give us permission to move it on.
Yes, sir.
Is there a sense of urgency on their part to get this done? Any idea? what the timeframe is?
We've expressed a little bit more urgency because it's been a year since I talked to her about it, since I've been here about it. So she understands that, kind of been waiting patiently in a sense. So
Go ahead, Sam.
Do we have any kind of waiting list for the long ones that can't get into the bridge for the 6? Do we have a waiting list for that, or do we still have some available?
I have some available. So what I do is I try to keep a couple balls open just for my vessels that can't get through the bridge and last minute reservations and that kind of thing. But everything that can fit under the bridge, I push them through the bridge.
Jim?
Yeah, I have a broad question, Curtis, and maybe Frankie knows something about this as well, as he sits in a lot of meetings. So we just watched this documentary, Survival Mode, the other night, and so I'm wondering, and I don't claim to be an expert, but for those folks who are in the mooring field when we have a storm coming, is our policy in terms of what we advise people to do going to change, or does it stay the same? And is it based upon the type of storm that we predict is coming? Because sometimes people say that's a safe place to be, but obviously with Hurricane Ian, it was a challenging place to be. Of course, Hurricane Ian was an aberration. As we come into hurricane season, what do you advise people to do who might be at the mooring field or just in general in the bay?
So it doesn't matter what type of storm it is, if it's a 1 or 5, right? I recommend everybody that is staying in the mooring field, and this really is for my long-term people that are there, right, is to seek better shelter, meaning get out of here, go to LaBelle, up to the locks, somewhere that's a little, safer than there. But we are a safe haven. That's more for assets in the area that really can't move a long distance, or somebody gets themselves caught and has to, come in at the last second. So for a prime example, in Tracy, his boat's very large. It's hard for him to move it in a quick notice. So he has his boat at a dock right now, but in time whenever a storm comes, he puts his boat out on the mooring field, which is a safer place than being at a dock and getting beat up. So hope that answers your question.
So just for somebody who might be watching, are you recommending, given what you said, if somebody is in the mooring field and a hurricane is coming, should they stay on their boat, or should they get off their boat and get off the island?
I would get off the boat, get off the island. I do not recommend anybody staying on the boat for a storm at all.
That's a mandatory evacuation. If the town island is under a mandatory evacuation, wouldn't the mooring field also be included?
Yes, that all falls in, and just being like a resident in a house, it's all the same.
And then what if a boat, I'm sorry, one more question. If a boat actually gets taken off of the mooring field and hits a house, is the town under any obligation or any liability if someone chooses to keep their boat in the mooring field and then a storm comes, they decide to stay in the mooring field and the boat snaps, and something involving our equipment, the ball or something snaps and the boat hits a property, is the town then liable for any of liability on that? You may not know that.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe they are not. So that would be, the boats would be at their own risk, staying on mooring pole, right? So if that happens in that event and they break loose, hits a house or something like that, that's going to be between the insurances and the two owners. Correct me if I'm wrong, Frankie.
You consider an act of God.
But per maritime law, the captain of the vessel is ultimately responsible for making the decision
Correct.
if he chooses to move or not move. And anything that they do, if it causes anything in peril with other vessels or with other property, it's between their insurance company and the other insurance company.
Yes.
So I'm not a lawyer and I'm going to say this, but it's always traditional understanding for me, captain of the vessel is ultimately makes the decision if they move or don't move. We can advise them that we've heard weather patterns, but again, it's their responsibility to track the weather and to make sure that their vessel is always in its best, for his decision, situations they choose. We can't make them move. We can advise them to move, but it's the captain's decision.
Now, if we have a hurricane or a threat that we see that it's going to come into our area, right, a week out, days out, let's say like 5 or more or so days, right, we will send out an email to all the boaters in the mooring field advising them, hey, I recommend you to, pay attention to this storm and to make the right preparations. And my recommendation to them would be to vacate and to seek better shelter.
But they don't have to, if they wanted to stay on their boat on the ball, they could
They
stay.
do not have to, because we are considered a safe haven.
Is this the same sort of analogy that if you go to a hotel and something happens to your car out in the parking lot, it's your insurance, it's not the hotel's liability?
Correct.
I'm just trying to make it.
Yeah, make it, yes, absolutely. You're correct.
Okay, other questions about boats and storms? Hopefully no storms, except for this little rainstorm that's going to hit us. What else, Curtis?
I believe that's it for now. If y'all have any questions on the overview that I submitted, please, if you have any more questions, please ask.
Do you want to take us through this, or do you want Frankie to go next?
No, I can take you through this. So, this is kind of the...
Curtis?
Yes.
I have one question for you.
Yes, Ed.
In the laundry facilities at Matanzas Inn, are the washers and dryers, are they like coin operated?
They're coin operated, yes, sir.
Okay, and then how does the shower facilities work in there? Are they just
So-
connected to like a bathroom, or how does that work?
Yes, it's a bathroom and shower all together, just one. There's actually 2 units, so, but it's all together. A shower and a bathroom in one building.
Okay, and then the laundry area is a separate room.
It's a separate room, yes, sir. It's behind the Matanzas Inn pool.
Do you know what they have for washers and dryers in there?
What do you mean? Yeah, there's
They
2
have-
washers
is
and
it
2
or 3? Are they 60 pounds? Are
How
they
many?
30 pounds?
So there's 2 washers, 2 dryers.
Okay, they pretty
And
much.
they're smaller, they're not like your units that you have at your house. It's kind of the little,
Like apartment size ones?
Correct.
Little size.
Okay.
Is there a reason you're going to go to your laundry?
I just thought it would look really weird if I went in there to, inspect the showers and laundry facility. So I thought it'd be better if I just asked.
There you go.
You're actually really nice. I was just there this morning.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Good.
very nice.
Okay.
Jennifer approved.
I do approve. I do have a question for you.
Yeah.
In regards to the boat ramps.
Yes.
Where are we at with that?
So, so where we're at right now, we are waiting for approval for the town to move forward on and see if we can afford to get the coconut boat ramp done. So we're starting with the coconut boat ramp first. I know that Miramar needs to be resurfaced and re-gravelled as well. I just used Miramar to pull our yellow special purpose buoys down. It's a little bumpy, but I mean, it's still in workable shape. It's more so the gravel up top, but the actual slab itself down there is in great shape.
No, it's not. I mean, I've talked to several people who are having a lot of difficulties with it. It's actually really unsafe too. I've seen 2 people trip. So that needs to be addressed immediately before we find ourselves in trouble. The Miramar needs to be resurfaced and re-gravelled. Is it going to be just re-gravelled? Because I think that was the gravelled area, not so much the surface area was affected by the hurricanes as much as the gravel got washed away.
Correct.
And so I think that's where we've got all the issues with.
Right.
Yeah. with
Right,
the
but I'm
holes
talking
and
about
stuff.
so it backs up, so you have that, so you have the pole there, you go down, that's where all the gravel's washed out and it's bumped. You have the grate right there too, where that all needs to be gravelled in. But you get down, the slab itself is good.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what you mean by tripping and that kind of thing. I mean, yes, there is algae on it and stuff like that, but with every boat ramp.
No, I'm talking about where the gravel is. That's where all the potholes are, yeah.
Correct, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That needs to be redone. Yes, I'm in agreement with you there. But the actual slab where the boat goes into the slab, the concrete that goes into the water, that appears pretty solid. So, but yes,
Gotta go.
Yeah, I gotta go see the top.
we're working on the gravel and everything right now, where we need to be with that. So, to push all this through, it's been a lot with the town manager and getting acclimated and other needs going on right now. So, I'm just waiting on work to be able to push all this through.
Excuse me, one more question on
Yes, sir.
the laundry facilities.
Yes,
That's not open to the public. That's just open to our
Our guests.
Morganfield guests and the guests at
so,
Matanzas.
okay, so let me just That's clear. So the showers and the restrooms and the laundry facilities, those are only open to the people who stay and pay for the mooring field in our autumn mooring hall. So it's not open to the public. I have a code to get in. Now, the laundry facilities, obviously, we rent that from Matanzas, right? So that's actually their units, right? But our people staying on the mooring hall have access to that. But I mean, there's a charge with it. It's like, $225 to use or something like that.
Okay, so each year a monthly fee for those facilities, the town?
Say again?
The town pays a monthly rent, if
Yes,
you
sir.
will, on
Yes,
those
sir.
facilities?
Those are our upland facilities,
Okay.
and that's ran through Matanzas.
And then the location of the bathrooms and laundry facilities, is that close to an area that the boaters can dock? Or do they have to dock at like the dinghy dock and then carry all their belongings with them?
Correct. It's just right up from the, you've been down there, it hasn't changed, it's been there for a while now. So, but yeah, it's just up, so if you get up, if you dock at the dinghy dock, you're gonna be directly under the bridge in that first parking lot. You're gonna cross Crescent Street. You're gonna go into the second parking lot. Our trailer's gonna be on the right-hand side, and then to the left, it's gonna be the blue buildings, and it's it's on the bottom floor. These are the restrooms are on the bottom floor of a Matanzas building.
Okay.
About 100 yards. About
Matanzas
100
Inn.
yards, something like that.
Yeah,
From the diggy dock.
yeah. I'd say probably about 200.
Yeah, yeah.
But then the laundry facilities are across the street, and they are directly behind the Matanzas Inn pool, right there.
Okay. And then the revenues made off the washers and dryers, that's the town's money?
What do you mean, say that?
Well, they're coin operated,
Right.
so there's a bunch of coins in there. We're renting the facility.
Yeah, that
It's the town.
goes to Matanzas.
So they get
We
our
don't
rent.
recoup that money.
Okay, so they get the rent and they also get any proceeds from the machines.
Correct. Yes, they do.
For
We
those-
also keep our boats back there at the end of their dock as well.
They do what? I'm sorry.
Our boats, we house our boats at the end of their dock. That's
Okay.
where we tie up our vessels, the pump out boat and the pontoon right now.
Okay.
They charge us for that?
Yes, that's part of the agreement that we have with them.
Are those things clearly marked for the voters? Do they know exactly where they are, where to go? Is there like a little map on our
Yes.
website? So they-
Yes, so we installed a new welcome sign and map down on the mooring field.
Great.
It has the directions and a chart that show all the facilities within the area and how to access them and get to them and everything. So got our directions. I had a lot of that questions when I first started, but over the season, so that's something that we wanted to clean up and make it a little bit easier for them. So.
Curtis, and you may have addressed this, I may have missed it. The funding for runs being repaired, the boat ramps being repaired, has that been approved? Is that in,
For
is
what
that
being
pending?
repaired?
The boat ramp repairs,
Yes.
is all the funding there for that, or
Not that I'm aware of.
we're waiting for
So
funding?
that's the biggest problem that I'm having right now.
that funding?
The town has the funds for that, nor are they under any, especially coconut, they're not in any budget. No, we cannot push them through FEMA or anything like that because it was a man-made ramp prior.
Yeah, so
Storms.
it would be correct to say the budget for that is pending.
Correct. Yes, it is.
Okay. Want to go back to the?
Yes,
Excel?
going back to the revenue side of things and everything. So as you requested, you wanted a little bit of numbers and everything. What we do, so I had for the last 2 months, we had the number of reservations that we received,
Hold on just a second. So number of reservations, is that the number of individual reservations or reservation days?
That is reservation days or nights.
Okay, so you divide that by however many boats. Okay,
Correct.
all right. And is that cumulative? So is that just for June and July, or is that some people bled over between?
Some people bled over in between. I mean, we're always in it, because I have people that are in the mooring field year-round,
Right.
long-term, and they live out there.
So are they double counted then?
Shoot. I'm gonna have to get back to you on that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean-
Percent sure about that.
I'm just
Because
thinking-
these are, a lot of these numbers we pulled from DACWA, and that tracks all that for us, so, I've still got some homework to do to get the.
Do we even have that many reservation days available?
Yeah,
If we divide it by.
so it's
the number of
divide by
balls,
30 and then divide by the number of balls, by 240.
that'd be 150 balls.
Yeah.
So,
So yeah, I mean, I guess, go through your spiel
I
and
will.
then we can
Yeah.
talk about where we would like to see the numbers. So sorry.
No, you're fine, you're fine. So, for the month of June, we did,
like the bottom looks like that's, I mean, it
Days.
doesn't-
these are the nights down here at the bottom, and this is how many nights we had boats on for each size mooring, right? So, obviously, our biggest number is gonna be in the 40-footers. And then, if you go back up top for June, July, the revenue, this is what we are, this is our net, this is what we're taking. This is what the town is receiving, after each month, so the 21,000 and 17,000. And that's after all of our processing fees and everything.
So the revenue is actual to that month,
Correct.
but what may not be actual are sort of these number of reservation
Correct.
days because they could
Correct.
have more in them than.
Yeah, and I was kind of going off of what y'all had received from the old regime, and I pulled that, so I was trying to mimic that, and, you know, I still have some work to do on those numbers, but, I mean, really, what I was more concerned for y'all is getting the revenue
Yeah.
number. So, and then I did the, down here at the bottom graph where it has the numbers for each ball. I know that was a big topic last time we had our meeting. And then I know that y'all wanted to know how many mooring balls or how many boats were on each ball every day. So I kept track through March all the way to July. And I just had a calendar, so I know how many boats we had on each ball every day through March until now. So I can pass this along if you want to see them, and kind of see the pattern and the consistency of where we're at. So, but I don't know how y'all want me to put this into this and showing, you know, every day have 1 through 30 and have them, you know what I mean? I don't know if that's too much data or what y'all want to do. Or I could, before, you know, I could start emailing these out, scanning these and emailing these out to you for each month so you have the numbers. But I'm looking for, this is kind of what I came up with. I'm kind of looking for constructive criticism and ideas to how we can make this a little bit better. So I want to put my notes and everything here
Yeah.
together for y'all instead of just verbally. I can start emailing this out before, you know, the meeting as well.
Let me make one statement and then I'll let my Excel, my spreadsheet, my occupancy guys talk. But I mean, I think what we're trying to understand is what is our opportunity with the mooring field? What occupancy do we have today? And what size of boat is sort of in our sweet spot? And then understand, you know, once we get the new balls online, we can handle some of these bigger boats.
Correct.
So it's sort of like occupancy, opportunity, and revenue. Those are sort of the three big things for me, but how you guys want to see it. I mean, I think how we used to see it when Austin put it together, it was pretty handy, but there's probably many, many ways to slice this. So you're our guy with the historical perspective. So what do you think, Ted?
In the past, we were able to say on June the 4th, there were X number of boats in the thing, and June 5th, there were X number in it. And that way you got an average for the month. Now this adding the length of the boats, I don't know where that's in the data and how you might come up with it. And whether this data for length is the length available at the buoy or the length of the boat in that, on that.
So this is for, not the size of the vessel, but each vessels we have on our 40-foot moorings or 50-foot
So
moorings or
it's the mooring
60-foot
size,
moorings.
it's not the vessel size.
Correct.
Okay. I don't know.
But I'm not gonna put, so yeah, we'll get a 30-foot vessel in, but they're gonna go to a 40-foot mooring. I don't have anything else, even smaller for that.
Well,
I
hopefully,
have a question. I'm just not familiar with this, but so does that mean like almost like if you have a camper, you have a bigger space is a 50-foot a bigger space?
Correct,
Okay.
correct. So,
All right.
so so every mooring ball in the field, I have a certain number rated for certain size vessels. So I have, 40-foot moorings, 50-foot moorings, 60, 70, 80. We have a couple 80s. Obviously, I have the 40 and 50 footers are the most, or that hold, the mooring balls that hold 40 to 50 foot vessels are the most that I have in the mooring field, right? Because I say most average size vessel we get is anywhere from 30 foot to 50 foot, 60 footers and 70s, I get more so those during the season. But also if I'm gonna get a big trawler, right, and it has a lot of tonnage, I'm gonna put them on a bigger mooring, so they can hold better and stuff like that, so we're not questioning.
It's like cars again. Mini Cooper, we're gonna put it on the 40. That big heavy-duty super truck, we're gonna put it on the 80.
Correct.
hopefully we can pull the figures from DOCWA. You could have some kind of formula, you could just pull the figures
These
from
are all
DOCWA.
figures from DOCWA.
Yeah.
All these numbers are pulled from DOCWA. Because DOCWA is my only system that I have to generate these numbers. I don't have anything else that's DOCWA solely.
Go, John.
So, Curtis gave me a preview.
Okay.
So you hold up the 1 month sheet so people know what I'm talking about. So he's doing the amount of vessels on the amount of balls on any given day. You can say,
Yes, well,
That's
so he's
like
doing-
that.
That's
My
good.
question is it necessary or is there any value in breaking it down to the size of vessels? I don't see it, Ted. Do you see it?
I didn't originally think that, I don't know who brought it up at the time, but I think that could go. Unless there's too much competition for available, is there a great competition available for the sizable balls?
I got more so competition for the front field. More so not even the ball size,
So
the
it's
front
location.
field, it's location a lot of the times, and for the vessels that come in for my sailboats that have a mast greater than 65. And there is competition for being closest to the dinghy dock. So numbers 20 through, I'd say, through halfway through the second field, so going into like almost a 40, right? Those are the most popular spots, right?
Do the fees reflect the,
No, it's one flat fee.
it's all, so it doesn't matter where they are?
Correct. But that is the most competitive. Everybody wants those front spots. Now I'll leave 2 spots in the front open for my weekend people or stuff like that, but majority, like my long-term residents will have priority up there because they're the ones that come and go. Some of them have jobs and stuff like that, and that come and go more so than your average, cruiser, looper, somebody coming in for the weekend.
Yeah.
So,
I have a proposal.
yes, sir.
What we need and what we have is a much longer conversation than we should be having in this meeting. I'm wondering if it would be possible to meet someday for an hour and figure out first what's feasible to get from the data. And the second is to arrange that into a report. In other words, we all have different ideas, but I think we all know where we want to end up. And the biggest problem is get it so you can do it feasibly. I mean, not be a pain. And I don't think we can figure that out in this forum, but that's just a thought. And I'm sure that someone's.
So I think until we have anything to that, when we have that, I mean, great, agree with that 100%. Until we get to that point, can we agree with what Curtis is putting together, the amount of vessels per day, and then a summary at the end of the month on, that he's done already, the size of vessels broken down for the month. I find those 2 very useful.
This, though, isn't exactly accurate as I understand it, because
The
there's.
bottom part,
No,
I know the bottom part is very accurate. These numbers up top, I need to get better understanding of what's here.
right.
This part at the top.
Yeah.
It's good, it's a general idea.
Pump outs.
We need to get them mass.
So you can see for the pump outs and stuff like that, the 90 and the 55, I mean, obviously you can tell us, dropping off a little bit there and everything like that. And then
So those are actual numbers. You
Yes.
did 90 of them.
yes.
So can I kind of change what I was saying, because that's a very good point. Well, ask Curtis to continue with this report as he has, and to add to it what you've already created, the amount of vessels per day, so we can keep track of the trends on Wednesdays better than Thursdays versus Fridays versus, first week in the month, second week in the month and such. I think those 2 reports, until we go beyond that,
Don't have a reporting system like that.
No, he hasn't sent, he's just got.
can you pass,
Yeah.
can you just pass one around real quickly? Because I think it's extremely,
So the things that we find of value are occupancy by day.
So these are the number of balls I have on the moorings
Oh, no,
each day of the
that's
month.
perfect, okay, I didn't see that.
So that's July. That's why I was asking, like, do you want me to create those numbers
That was.
in a report? But I'm saying, like, I would have to do Excel spreadsheet, it'll be 30 days and, I can create something with that.
so that plus what he's doing here, we continue until we come up with something
Yeah.
different. And I think that fulfills a lot of information.
And that fixes the overlap, because you have this.
Right, you
Right.
can tell.
Chris, can you finish? Occupancy by day?
Occupancy by day, size of vessel, revenue, and then that leads us to have some insights into opportunity and who we've got using the mooring field the most and what sort of, time of the year we might want to have some specials or something to.
Is that,
encourage
You
people.
is that the
dropped
whole
the-
goal of
You
why
dropped
it's?
the question of size, is that correct?
No, he, not by day, but at the end of the month. I don't think the size every day is as
Right.
important to have the summary.
Okay.
All right, I like that. And then another thing, Chris, I'd like to say, is that'll give us an opportunity to focus promotion
Right.
and see who we're marketing to or who we should be marketing.
Exactly. So, that leads me to the question that, remember, Jim, I think you might have brought it up, that the marinas we're wondering if we were in competition with them. And I think when we understand who our real audience is, that gives us the opportunity to say, no, we're complementary. Here's what we're doing, here's what you're doing. You're serving these types of vessels, we're serving these types of vessels. We're here for this time period.
I think that's a fair point. It was just one marine operator
Yeah,
who was just sort of
throwing it out there.
spitballing,
Yeah.
if you will. But yes, that's your point is well taken.
And you're correct, I think these numbers is where you start to be able to speak very accurately about what we are doing versus what their capabilities are.
So I don't know the best way about having that secondary meeting, because we, we'll have to call a special meeting if.
I have a recommendation.
Oh, go for it, Curtis.
So, we'll kind of think about this and see if, I'll try to approval with the town and stuff like that, but why don't we have like a work, not in a sense a work meeting, but have y'all come down to the morning field.
Yeah.
And I can take y'all out of the boat, or we have a pontoon boat, I can hold with a number of people. And I can show you the mooring field, show you what kind of boats are. I can have y'all set up, we have a picnic table outside, I'll set up Docwa, show you Docwa and how that's ran and everything. So we have kind of a better understanding of how the process works. I can show you the upland facilities, I'll show you what Matanzas gives us, I'll show you where the docks, so we all have the same picture and vision, and we can set out a block for an hour or two to do all that,
That'd be great.
I have a question.
Yes.
DACWA, that's not public, right? You can't just go in and get the information that you printed out, or you
No.
can? Okay.
So Docwa, so I have the side of Docwa that the customers use and the side that we run are two different platforms. Well, I mean, I wouldn't say platforms, but two different sides to it, right? So we're the admin side, and then because actually when I went on vacation with my family, I used Docwa to rent a slip for my boat. So I was on the other end of it,
Yeah.
and that was kind of some good knowledge and stuff you need to have to see what kind of they see and stuff like that.
What
So-
knowledge do you see on DACWA that we wouldn't see?
Well, it's I wouldn't say knowledge, but knowledge for me, but more so how they have to operate through it on their side rather than how I operate through it on my side.
What their
right?
experience is on the front end.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're following me. Okay.
Could I just see one thing about your idea?
Yes, sir.
From a sunshine law standpoint,
Okay.
and from a PR standpoint, I might recommend that our wonderful action cameraman over there come with us, because I can tell you, after the stroke, when I used to do these little series, key questions for key staffers, that was, when we went out on the mooring field and kind of toured around, that was the most, by far, heavily watched program. And if you took us out and kind of gave us a tutorial on camera, as we were basically meeting, the only challenge would be if the public came, would they come on the boat or not?
Well, we could have them in a separate
Well, I wouldn't
room
have to
afterwards,
public.
we do.
No, but it has to be a public meeting, so we'd have to kind of think through that with our lawyers.
Well, that's what I said. I want to run it through the town, make sure
Yeah.
we're within law and
No, we
we're okay to
would
do that.
notice it, and we would let it know that we would be filming it, and, but I just think, and it would be sort of, particularly when you talk about how to sign up with DACWA and all the things, that would be interesting to somebody who's sort of new to this and maybe exploring the junkies out there, they love this content.
Right.
And especially to see the mooring field, hear you opine about it, have us ask questions. I was shocked at how many views that got. So I think I love the concept of, to get around the sunshine dynamic, we might be able to just actually have an Anchorage Advisory Committee meeting on location.
Okay.
Just food for thought.
Well, if it's videoed, it's.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but I will talk with the town, we'll get with, our lawyers and everything, and see how we can make this happen. Because I think it's good for all of us to, so y'all can see everything, so it's good to put eyes on what we're talking about, and, so I can have y'all kind of advise me, before we do stuff. So we can paint the picture better, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Curtis, can I ask one?
Yes,
Simple question, try to get me back into this conversation a little bit. When it says revenue for June, the
Yeah.
revenue column, is that the revenue that the mooring field raised in the month of June?
Correct, correct.
By
That's
itself,
what, that's what's
not
going to
this
the,
guy's been here since May, so it's
no,
in
this is
June
strictly
numbers.
for June. Both of
So
these
that's the money
numbers.
that the mooring field raised in the revenue for June, is that number right there?
Yes,
in July.
$21,439.70 is what goes to the town's bank account.
Into our budget. And the 17 for July.
Correct.
Does DOCWA get the fees and then DOCWA
Yeah,
sends?
this is after all the processing fees and everything. This is
The
what we're
process
bringing
fees
up.
are what we paid DOCWA.
Correct.
Okay,
The revenues are
I was
net.
gonna go somewhere else
Yes.
with that.
If someone pays for 4 months in a row, do they pay it that way or do they pay it monthly?
So, the longest reservation that I can take is 6 months. I can book 6 months right from one reservation, right? But I rarely do that.
And is it paid, what, 6 months?
They have to pay up front.
Or 6 months?
All 6 months if they make that.
So how does that go into the revenue?
So it's separated by month. So,
Yeah.
but I don't really get that. I don't get a 6-month reservation. The main reservation we get is month to month, just like a rent and stuff like that. So so a lot of the reservations, people that are staying here for a long period of time, they just extend. We extend their reservation each month. So this number is everything is what we brought in for that month.
Yeah, and they paid for that month, not for 2 months.
Correct. It's all done by the month. Yes.
Okay, I remember where I was gonna go now. So when you look at the June revenue,
Yes.
have you had an opportunity or thought of looking at year to year, like comparing June of this year to June of last year or the year before or anything like that? Have you had an opportunity to do that yet?
I know our numbers right now, where we're at, are a little bit greater than what we were a couple years ago.
So it'd be safe to say that we're up? You have the numbers?
Yeah, I would say occupancy, right? I think we're up, which will reflect our revenue, right?
Sure.
So that's the way
We
I
had a
look at it.
small rate increase, didn't we?
But also, you also have to think of this too, right? I think there's a lot of the numbers I was looking at as well. This is before we had the front field as well. So now I have more balls, you know.
Right, but didn't we have a small rate increase this year?
Yes.
But it's
That's more so
good.
for the daily rate, which I get a lot of that. More of the daily rates will happen more during the season and stuff like that. But our monthly rate is roughly around the same right now.
So, to your point, I would like to add a couple of columns to this as much as we could. Can we have comparison for the last 2 or so years to
Okay.
this revenue number? Just so that we can, kind of keep track of how are we doing? Are we getting back to, like pre-Ian sort of things? Or are we still struggling?
Curtis, I
Yes.
believe I know the answer to this question, but just for the record, we charge the same amount for all the balls, right? We don't charge a
Correct.
amount for a bigger ball or
Correct.
smaller ball. It's the same amount for each ball.
Yes, sir. And I understand that's been a concern and stuff like that, or we've discussed, earlier on that, maybe, charging each size ball for a different rate and stuff, which that's something down the road, but right now, I think with, getting back to the swing of things, I feel like we would
So-
do well would be just a one.
So all the balls are capable of holding the largest vessel,
No.
No.
but they're.
Different swing.
No, I meant the weight of a vessel.
Oh, the weight.
Each ball can handle
They're right there.
the weight of any vessel?
No, so like I said, each for the mooring numbers for the balls, meaning it will hold a 40-foot vessel. And then I have 50-foot moorings that will hold 50-foot vessels. Greater.
When the price increase,
We
with a
talked.
boat,
We've talked about
We
that.
talked about that, and
That's
it's not necessarily best practice for other mooring fields to do it that way.
why? I mean, bigger rooms,
Yeah.
you know, like in a
No,
hotel,
I
a
totally
bigger
get it.
room.
We've talked about pricing by location or by boat size, but that's not necessarily something that we found. that-
But like I said, like, you know, I'll have 30-foot vessels that I have to put on 40-foot moorings, and I'll have them 40, so I'll put on 50 because of, you know, the room and stuff like that, so.
So we talked about the difference in these ones. So this would be great.
Poor Curtis, we're just really.
Is there more maintenance with the larger balls, or is
No, it's all
it
the
same maintenance
It's
for?
the same maintenance.
All just matters.
I don't think there's a weight difference, it's the diameter.
The
of the
swing
swing.
radius.
Preference.
Well,
Are the helixes-
not necessarily. My ball's up front because it's deeper up there, right, and they can hold 80-foot vessels. So that system
Oh,
is
is
larger. My shackles are a lot longer. I have double pennants going down, so there are bigger systems, yes.
Okay.
But for the majority of the systems, past the bridge and the second and third field are all the same systems, and then that'll go, like Sam said, into the swing radiuses. So really, the front field are going to be your stronger systems for my bigger size vessels. My bigger size vessels are all in the front field. That makes sense. So really, the systems that are going to see the leap is going to be the 70 and the 80-foot systems. The 40 to the 60s are roughly the same.
So talking budget,
Okay.
we're getting ready to go into your budget hearings for
Correct.
2026. And is the fiscal year October? Is that when it starts, or you
Yes.
start in January, October?
Yeah.
Okay. So what does the mooring field budget look like for 2026? And what is do you have a number for mooring field operations that we can?
But I have not seen those numbers
Okay.
yet. So it's still on approval or getting pushed through right now. And I should have had Frankie talk first. I apologize. Now my own man, I should have had him go first. So I apologize on that. But he was kind of the one that was going to explain on that because I had not been brought to light on that yet. So.
Mike,
Just by way of information, you watch social media. Joe Onzik, our finance director, alluded to a loss for the mooring field at the meeting on Monday, and there was a lot of extrapolation of that on social media. Glass half full folks, shock. So what Frankie was going to do today is explain why we were at a loss because of numerous infrastructure investments, and that we are on a path to be in much better shape going forward. But these unique infrastructure investments created this one-time loss that the rates are built in to hopefully recover that going forward. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what he told me before the meeting. He was going to explain today, so hopefully we'll have a chance to do that.
In that large deficit number, and it's roughly, to my knowledge, it's roughly the same of when we brought in Joe a couple months ago and stuff like that. So that deficit number looks bad, right? Just like Vice Mayor said, but it's expenses that we paid up front that we're getting reimbursed from FEMA. Like the DD dock is involved in that. The new boat, I believe the new mooring systems are still involved in that. So you know, and also with the yellow special purpose buoys, stuff like that. Those are numbers into that big deficit number, which will be, that number's going to start dwindling down with the reimbursement money and stuff that we're going to you get it back.
The Morganfield budget that he brought, it doesn't reflect that though in the itemized annual budget. The big chunk of the budget was $323,652, and under the budget line item grouping, it's personal salary, benefits, workers' comp. So it doesn't reflect that on this list, that it's the new D doc and things. So that's where maybe some people are getting confused.
So there's definitely confusion out there, Jennifer, and it's legitimate confusion. I guess people are inferring that we're in a lot worse shape than we actually are, based upon the incomplete information that was shared on Monday. I'm hopeful Joe on Thursday will be able to give us a little bit more detail, but certainly at the budget hearings in August or September, there'll be much more detail, much more granular detail.
So this is inaccurate then?
I just think it's incomplete.
Oh, incomplete.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think one of the problems is, it's marine operations, and then there's the mooring field, which is part of that.
Correct.
And we have struggled, I think, to get a good accounting of what portion of the big budget really needs to be revenue neutral from the mooring field portion. So I mean, I would love to be able to get that sort of granularity so that when we look at these revenues, we go, yep, we're gonna meet that.
And to add to that,
And so we're going to get that from Frankie.
well, we worked today, at least some extent, but I think what also happened was, just as Joe was beginning to get his head around our world, he left. And now he's back into that, so I think he's got a little catching up to do. He just started on August 1st, so
Yeah.
hopefully we'll get some more detail.
Yeah.
When you say marine operations, use Miramar isn't that what it's called, that's by your house?
The street.
But
The
ramp.
ramp.
The ramp.
Yes. For
So-
our Jennifer.
Well, then, Jennifer.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize you were talking to me. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
Yes, that's on my street.
So the mooring field revenues, I think what Chairman King is getting at, Chairwoman King, are our revenues paying for marine
Well, I think the question,
things, such as repairing that ramp or the one on Coconut,
Exactly.
or maintaining the Mound House, you know.
So our revenue's gonna cover, mainly our expenses of the mooring field, right? And that will go into the budget, and it also covers our salaries. and
Correct.
pay.
portion of the salaries that are applicable to that. Because I think where we get, confused and messed up is, property taxes are the taxes that people pay, they pay for services. And some of the services that are under marine operations are the canal, pulling debris out of the canals and fixing the boat ramps and
More like the
rescuing.
maritime side.
Maritime stuff. So there's sort of
Correct.
that maritime stuff.
Correct.
And then there's the mooring field specifically. And again, I say we've struggled to get the exact numbers. And so people are like, the mooring field is losing money. Well, no, it really, it hasn't been occupied as much as it was before Ian, but we're getting to that point.
Correct.
And if we can have a number that we're supposed to hit, then we can tell people, look, here's how much it costs to operate the mooring field, and here's how much the mooring field is bringing in, and if there's a deficit, then we figure out how we fix that gap.
Even for staffing and wages and that, I mean, I don't know what percentage of time you spend, in marine operations, but I guess it's a pretty fair amount, and your staff, and all of that, all your wages are paid through the mooring field budget.
In the past, they allocated hours to different budgets. And so the harbor master in the past, some of his wages were allocated to other things. I don't know whether they're still doing that or not.
Right, so I know that our setup and our structure for the mooring field for my office and division is a little bit different of how it ran back in the day. So I know that they pulled from PW and stuff like that prior. So now it's all under the mooring field marine division. And so I know that revenue that we incur helps pay for that, for our salaries and the expenses. Now, I know that certain things are not covered under that, like, the boat ramp and stuff like that. A lot of the stuff they want us to seek, like grants and other things to help compensate And, I mean, I do apologize, but, I'm still learning and trying to get dive deep in this stuff. It's hard, sometimes to get the knowledge and the understanding. Some of the meetings and financials I'm left out of, so I'm only exposed to certain parts, which I'm trying to push myself into that more. So, I'm still trying to wrap my head around it, make sense, and see what we can do. But I think Jim King kind of hit it on the head. We're still trying to, figure out, how our money is generated out to other things. And, I don't know if we should be combining some of these projects into the budget and for that to be a deficit for the mooring field altogether, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I think that number shows a lot worse than how we're kind of.
It's hard to say that
You know,
we're revenue
operating.
neutral, as is our premise.
Correct.
When we don't know what that number is that we're supposed to hit.
Right.
It's kind of tough.
Slightly different subject. Mr. Vice Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Budgeting is in September.
Yes, sir.
So we usually give you our incidental one-line item. What would you like, when would you like a deadline for us to give that to the council so we will include it?
Well, Sam, that's a great question. I think that's probably,
This next meeting?
I think at this point, we should probably give some indication to our harbor master today, so he can give that to Joe to build into his formulaic process. So whether they're giving each advisory committee a budget again this year, I assume they are, but I have not heard that affirmed, but I assume they are. So I think giving some indication as to what we might need for those type of purposes, I think giving that today would be great. That way he could take that back to the mothership and,
So we request that with the form of motion, or?
I think so, sure.
Well, so we do have, we already should have a surplus because we had money left over from our event.
Does that roll over, or we start with?
No, it rolls over.
Okay, roll over.
Well, because it was a donation, it wasn't a budget that the town gave us. If it's donations or.
For sure, roll over, our party, I'm not talking about money from our party, I'm talking about there's just a line on the town budget. It's a line item for hundreds, not even thousands, but it was.
That doesn't roll over.
We didn't have any last year, that was our problem.
Oh,
Got
for the
dropped.
party, yeah.
So our
Normally we just do it for
remainder,
the party.
according to my records, is $1,577.36.
Is that from donation?
Just like kind of.
That was from our donations for the,
So that rolls
for the
over.
cruiser, so it should roll over, hopefully. Did you hear that, Jim?
What was the surplus?
$1,577.36.
Wow, that's pretty good.
So the only reason we usually had that item was in case we got rained out of our party, or if we had a deficit on our Cruisers Appreciation Day. But if we have that left over, do we?
Is it the will of the committee then, instead of asking for a special line item appropriation for the purposes that the vice chair referenced? Or would it be better to make a motion to just claim the surplus that already exists so it can be utilized next year by the Anchorage Advisory Committee? That way we have a motion giving the budget or the finance director at least some notice that we've got a surplus here, we're claiming it for next year. I think that might be helpful so it doesn't get lost in the shuffle, if you
I
will.
would make a motion that we claim the surplus and an additional $500 to be budgeted, so that we're at about the $2,000 range, which is pretty much what we spent this year. So
Yeah, I'll second that.
So, Ed, so you're saying that you think the town gives us the $500?
We're asking for
odd-
it.
You're asking for it, okay, because I know we thought for the special event for the cruisers that they were gonna, that they budgeted us a certain amount of money for each advisory committee, and we found out that was not the case. We had to ask
Right.
permission
Right.
for that. So, and I don't know if that's in this new 26 budget or not for per the committees, that hasn't,
I guess.
like I said, that's still in the process of being approved.
So, restate your motion, Ed.
Perfect motion.
The motion was that we retain the $1,500 and odd dollars that we have. And we ask the council for an additional $500 to be appropriated to the Anchorage Committee for the purposes of the Cruisers Appreciation Day.
And I second that.
And just a point of clarification, Mr. Schoonover, would you be comfortable if that $500 in terms of how the budget is allocated comes from the proceeds of the mooring field?
That would be wonderful if it could.
All right, beautiful. Excellent. So that way we're not really even asking for any general funds, and we're asking for
Sure.
to be able to utilize the proceeds, because it is a promotional event for the mooring field, so it's not like it's not related, so it's all good.
Do I need to rephrase that?
I don't know. I mean, I think it's important that Joe knows that,
Let me understand this. So you're saying, all right, so what proceeds?
he's reserving the surplus that the Anchorage Advisory Committee has already, the
The
$1,500, but he's asking for an additional $500.
Right.
But in a perfect world, we'd like to see that come from the proceeds generated by the mooring field and not from general revenue from the town.
So from the mooring field budget.
So not from property taxes, not
So out of my budget, you want me to pay the 500 to give it to the committee, is what you're saying, right?
That's
our budget, yeah.
Well, yeah, he has to produce that much more to balance his budget at the end of the year.
That's right, that's right. But
We're gonna
again,
use the heck out of those coin-operated laundry machines.
unlike work, we have a revenue source. I mean, we have an entity that generates revenue, just like the Mound House to some extent, although they don't generate enough to make up,
Yes.
to break even, yeah.
Is that amenable to you, Curtis? $500?
Yeah, we should be fine.
Okay, so we had a motion, we have a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I think just for those who are listening, I think Frankie was going to explain why that's actually possible. People say, how could you do that when you're running a massive deficit? I think Frankie was going to explain that the deficit was one-time expenditures and that structurally we're sound. I don't want to speak for him, but I think he was going to present something to that effect.
Okay, wow. We've got a lot. Curtis, anything else that you wanted to share with us?
No, I think that's good for right now. If you have any more questions, I'll be happy to answer. But
All right.
we'll be good. Mind you, we haven't done a meeting this month too, so.
We do. We do. And I'm August 25th. August 25th. That's our regularly scheduled regular meeting.
We don't know, we don't have a location yet for that, do we? Probably.
It's probably gonna be here again, I would think.
And I will find out the night before if I can be at that meeting or
Okay.
not, because I'm called for jury duty that day.
Ooh, okay. Do you want to see? Okay. So how would that, Sam step in, or how would we do that?
Yes,
Okay.
and John Wesley Nash will not be at that meeting.
Is that meeting necessary then?
I know. It's nice.
Well, I mean, I would like to have it, just to keep conversation going, but maybe it does make sense to wait until after the first budget hearing.
Madam Chair, I thought the purpose of the second meeting had to do with discussion of, for
Yes,
lack of better words, the purpose of the Anchorage Committee.
it did. Because we did not have a meeting in June, because we had all kinds of vacations, and because everybody was off in July, that's why we have 2 meetings in August. So, I mean, I guess my question is, will Curtis, Frankie, whomever, be ready on the 25th to talk about vision, about budget, about roles and responsibilities, so we can have a conversation? And I would really like to be here for that, and I don't know if I will, so.
I would just, given your interest and advocacy over the last year, to better organize our raison d'etre of this committee and our purpose, it seems like it would be great to have you there for that. in a perfect world, which we don't live in.
I would like you there.
Okay, so I don't know if we move it to early September then and have 2 meetings in September. It's still not gonna fix
What
it.
does August 20th look like?
August 20th?
I know for a fact there's an opening in this room on the 20th at noon, because another meeting was canceled.
The MRF meeting is on August 20th here, from 10 to 12. Just FYI.
August 20th.
Oh, no, I take that back, it's the 13th, never mind.
August 20th at noon, I could do it for a good hour and a half.
What day of the week is
That-
Till
So
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
I'm good.
All right. Should we follow with Lizette then and try and get that scheduled?
Let's do that. Let's shoot for August. Everybody's good.
And are you gone?
I can't tell you at this point, because I may be on my way to Miami and fly out.
What time did you say?
I said noon, but I mean, I was just
That
throwing it
works.
out there. I didn't expect anybody to say it was okay, actually, but,
That works for me in between meetings, so.
Noon?
yeah.
Wednesday, August 20th. I'm good.
I certainly would confirm it
Okay.
if I can or can't.
So make a motion to change that? Do we just change it?
Yeah.
Okay,
And
so,
in this meeting, you want specifically about the vision of the mooring field, the budget, the revenue and purpose of the AC
Yeah, I
and
mean,
stuff. You want me and Frankie to give
If you guys
our
have
spiel
that
for that.
granularity from the budget that's going to be proposed that can help us understand what exactly is attributed to the mooring field and what's attributed elsewhere, so that we understand how we can help it be revenue neutral, that's great.
and you can bring Joe, he's not busy.
Yeah. Well, and then we,
Sometimes Joe's busy.
Yeah,
If
Joe
you
should.
could get Joe, maybe you could tell him that he can have the very first few minutes of the meeting if he wanted to come for just a 5 or 10 minute.
I'm not sure Joe can do it for 5 or 10 minutes.
I will make sure
Meeting.
and wait, I'll go on Frankie's schedule for him. So it's not like.
And we're
Yes,
canceling
sir.
that 1:50.
Yeah. So then we could, go through kind of this comparison of responsibilities that I sent out and look at what things we actually want to move forward, because Curtis and Frankie will be updating an ordinance, and it would be nice to update things all at the same time. Kind of you're perplexed.
I'm freezing.
Yeah, he's not, he's not playing here.
I'm
So
freezing, I'm sorry, I'm focusing.
It's colder than that.
Yeah.
Member items. Any member items? Jennifer?
Really just that, I don't know if, you all know this, but Jackie Lizick has now, we have water monitoring at the Mountain House. I'm not sure if you're all aware, but I just wanted to let you all know.
And what happens because of that? What does that mean?
Well, you can go to the website, and also Murph, I'm printing out, I just received another 2,300 to print out another 15,000 children's Fort Myers Beach Town books. So on the back we'll have QR codes, and we'll have the water quality, it tests for the water quality back in the back day. And they're alongside FGC water program. So it's an interesting, we'll have on the back of the book, you'll have a QR, but I think even they have a sign now, maybe with the QR, that you can go and it'll take you to the website, and you can see, the quality of our water is back there. I believe that's the only water testing, continuous water testing area there is. I know periodically people come around the island and do water testing, but this will be this is huge. It's really important to know what our water is like back there.
Okay.
Yeah.
John?
Nothing.
Sam?
Just a couple things. Did everybody see Survival? The Jim was talking about?
Yeah.
Did not
That
watch
was,
it.
you should watch it. It's pretty amazing. Half of it was on a house and half of it was on Anchorage, and the guy's got an unbelievable film.
What network?
NBC.
It's probably online now.
It's a
Find it on
series,
TikTok.
it's called, Survival Mode, and it's the third episode.
Probably can see going on.
And they come here to Fort, they came here to Fort Maris Beach?
It's
Was it about Ian
It's
or?
all about you.
It's a whole hour long special,
Yeah.
not for its squeamish.
It's great.
Oh, is this about where the boat almost hit the house?
It's a compilation.
Yes, all that, and then.
I heard about
and then
that.
people, yeah, you need to watch it.
Third
It's
episode.
great, you can get it, if you have Peacock, it's on.
I do.
Peacock.
The other
But
thing-
I don't like watching those things, you know, it brings me back. I have
But
PTSD.
it's good.
It's a story.
It's a story, and they ended on a high note at the end.
We're not gonna have any more hurricanes?
No, not like that. You gotta watch it. I'm not gonna. You'll like it. I will say.
Okay.
You're a human person. You'll like
Yeah.
it.
The other thing is, since we're getting ready to dredge, just a recommendation to town council, Cape Coral is doing hundreds of miles. They just, I think, are setting up to do it. Marco Island's doing like 100 miles of dredging, so if Chad could piggyback on some of that stuff, and, maybe that would help,
And maybe we could also learn how they're financing it as well. That's,
Yeah,
they may have a models.
they have
that's successful.
huge projects going on.
Okay.
Well, I tell you, at the behest of Mayor Allers, when Dave Nussbaum and I presented, I sent an email to all of the people in Cape Coral and Marco and Bonita and Naples and all over, asking for information about their canals, and I got one thing back. So if they're more interested in sharing it with town staff, that would be swell. Hopefully they will be, because it would be lovely to learn from their best practices and what we're doing now.
And of course, we want to be included in our committee on that discussion when the dredging comes around again. The other thing we would like to be included on, if possible, would be the water taxi, water ferry, or any of those items. We definitely like to be included on that discussion.
Can I give an update? Since you
Sure.
raised it, this is gonna be one of my items. So, on Monday, the Loggerheads Fishtail Marina came in for a litany of variances. They're rebuilding their facility, their slips, their boathouses, and their offices. They will have gas available within probably 60 to 90 days. They'll have live bait available, hopefully within that same time framework. They are going to build a new facility for the entity that leases on their property that sells and services boats, Walker Marina. And Walker's will have, again, a new building. That temporary shell will eventually be gone. The pace of the buildings, the rebuilding of the Loggerheads Fishtail Marina will impact the timing of the Pincher's Restaurant there that also leases that land at the end of that property. I'm not sure we're going to make this coming season, unfortunately, but they're still committed. And I would also say the three buildings really, that was kind of a little shopping plaza offices that was next to Fishtail Marina, that's all been torn down, and that is not going to be replaced. It'll be additional parking for the for the Pincher's Restaurant. So just thought that people would find it interesting. It's coming on second reading, but to your point, Mr. Vice Chairman, is the water ferry piece is in this proposal in the sense that they have reserved 1 or 2 slips for a town water ferry to be reserved for at their marina, and we've been asked to get that additionally clarified and solidified, so we are sure we've got a spot for a water ferry at that location, because in the Moss Marine proposal, which has now been codified, they have to stop 4 different places on the island, one of those places being on the south end. Obviously, the only thing that really makes sense on the south end is Fishtail Marina, but they have been trying for a long time to reach out to the Fishtail Marina people and not been able to reach anybody because they've been in flux. But if we could get that codified, I think that would help the Moss Marina folks who are trying to get the ferry formally situated. So all good things, and just wanted to piggyback on your comment about the ferry.
I have a question about water taxis.
Yep,
You mean
different than water ferry.
Ferries.
Yep.
Yeah, water taxi
And water
Different than
ferry is
shuttles.
different, right? Water ferries are larger than water taxis.
Water ferries be up to 49 people.
Right.
Yes.
Water taxis are small. So in the past, so is Moss Marina the one that's gonna have the water taxi? And
Not only have a taxi, but they're going to build a terminal, a ticket office terminal for the whole structure to house the whole entity there on their property. And then what we've asked them to do in addition to that is also run a ferry at a minimum of 4 stops. It could be many more. So ferry.
and then are those going to be going into canals?
Those will not be going to canals, they'll be going to marinas. There'll be one on the south end. I've encouraged the Mountain House to be on that list.
This
And
is
then
the ferry,
this
correct?
would be the ferry, and then the other one would be Snook Bite. Now, likely there'll be others that's just the minimum requirement. So they may go across the bay, they may go to Big Shell, that's all to be determined, so.
Now, water taxis can go down, can go into the smaller canals.
Well, they can, but the ferry system that we're talking about will not be using private canals. It will just be going along the bay until it hits the marina and or the Mountain House, picking up folks at that.
Oh, I see, you're not discussing the water taxis.
The water taxi concept, although we've talked about it here, would probably be in relation to the mooring field. May have folks who want to do other things as well, but that's a separate dynamic from the Arches Moss Marine project.
I got you, okay.
They may harbor a water taxi at the Moss Marine or the Arches, but it's not part of the formal
I
proposal
see.
of which they're required to do.
Okay, so
Is
ferries
that-
have routes, taxis are sort of on the.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Because water taxi is the big need in the mooring field. I don't have that, I don't have the liability to go and pick up people to pick them up or drop them off on their boat. The biggest thing for me right now is having dinghies left overnight and stuff like that. It's hard for me to police that because I don't have a service to bring them back and forth. We recommend that the boaters work together hand in hand, but it's very difficult.
You mean left overnight at the dinghy dock?
Correct.
So they can't do that?
And we try to minimize that as much as we can.
How do you know if the dinghy docks belong, or the dinghies belong to the mooring field people? How,
They don't
is there
have
a
to.
sticker or something?
It's a public dock.
Oh, it's a public dock.
10-foot limit.
Yeah.
So if one was overnight, you wouldn't know whether it was someone else's dinghy or a
I
mooring
mean, I
field?
know, I know who,
Yeah.
I know who things are do sometimes.
Yeah. Gotcha.
We were trying to keep track for a while when we were under the bridge and stuff. It was a little bit easier to control. But we had kind of like a tag system, so we know whose dinghies are paying in the mooring field and who is outside, like in the Anchorage or whoever else is coming in.
I think I asked this one other time, I'm sorry, I don't mean to,
Yeah, you're good.
How many dinghies, or how many can the dinghy dock hold? How many dinghies can the dinghy dock hold?
Soon a lot more.
Yeah, yes.
Do they tie up to each other, or how does that work?
Yes, they do. They can tie up, but what they do is they'll have a longer painter line or a rope, to tie off. So they will tie off to the bull nose, and then they can have it longer, so some will be able to push back and others will slide in. I mean,
I see.
and they kind of just wrapped up, staggered and stuff. Because they're pretty much all inflatables, so they can bounce back. The biggest thing that I had to put up signs and stuff stating to leave your engine in the water at the dinghy dock. Because we're dealing with inflatables. If somebody leaves it up and it slides over, it can puncture there, dinghy and stuff like that. We don't need that, so trying to police it. in that sense.
I just wanted to add that it was a long meeting, that last meeting happened. The fishtail thing was very impressive. It sounded like they're going to do a whole finger for transient boats, for taxis, shuttles, and everything.
It's very encouraging.
There's going to be some issues. We'll bring it up later. But fishtail will be okay with parking. Arches maybe. I don't know how you're ever going to do it with Snook Lake. I think they're over parked right now. I don't know how they'd ever do that.
It is a challenge, it's done by her, right? And Santini Plaza obviously could absorb some of that as well. And by the way, in the proposal for Loggerheads Fishtail Marina, they're actually increasing the number of parking spots. So that's good.
That was a nice presentation there. So there's a little bit of misconception. I used to run a shuttle. So there's a ferry, which uses a schedule, a water taxi, which you call just like an Uber or a taxi. And then there's what I used to run, which is a shuttle. And I operated a shuttle from Marina Del Rey, California, from the parking lot to a shopping center, because there wasn't enough shopping. And a shuttle is just kind of a hybrid, because that's on demand, not by request, but it's on demand.
Sam, isn't there a shuttle between the Hyatt and?
Yes, and that's the kind of boat, I do want to mention that, the kind of boats that you're going to be having for the ferries and shuttles and are going to be these Corinthians, and you see them all around. You see the dolphin tours, they're catamarans, they're 49 passenger, most of them, but they do come in different sizes, which is really handy. Some of them are huge, they're 55 foot, and some of them are as little as 38 foot. So they just
Salty
hold-
Sam's has one. The
Yeah.
Sightseer at Salty Sam's. And we're pumping that boat out for a little while, but it's like that. It can hold up to 50 passengers.
Yeah, and they can, and some can hold, the smaller ones even can hold up to 42 passengers, and that's going to be great for the water ferries, because they'll be able to get in and out and not take up too much room all the time.
Do you know that a lot of places in Cape Coral have ferries that come here?
They have one that goes to Scott Harbor, that goes from Cape Harbor. Yeah, and now that's a big one. And that's a
Oh, that's what
Corinthian.
you're talking
Yep,
about.
yep.
They're all going to be that similar. It's made by a company called Corinthian, and I think that's popular.
And it could be that Moss Marine contracts this out to another firm that does both water ferries and water taxis. So you could, because there are probably some synergies there.
So if you could include us in on that discussion.
Oh, absolutely. That's why I raised it.
Water taxi.
Yep.
And I just had one more comment. I talked to 2 people yesterday. A guy at the grocery store that has thousands, probably tens of thousands of miles seat time. We all know him, and he's got nothing but complimentary things to say about Curtis in the field. He was also on this committee at one time. He says it's running now smoother than it ever has. And then I ran into the polar opposite. Guy that bought a boat, doesn't know anything about it, bought a big 37-foot sailboat, first boat, doesn't know anything, and he came into contact with Curtis and the crew, said he was very helpful, giving him all kinds of tips on how to tie his boat, and I think he might even pump me out a few days ago also. So you're getting a lot of good comments from the field. That's it.
Ted? Anything?
No.
No?
No, I'm freezing in here. so-
Yes.
All right.
I looked around and said,
Okay, come on, quick comments
Rain
from
sounds
me.
like snow.
Do you have something to say it, or are you good?
oh, I
Regarding canals, remember I put this little document together, Jim, in case that's helpful for the people who are working on canal dredging. I mean, it's just what I found from all of the stuff that we know here. It was part of the packet Jennifer was sent. Okay.
Was it emailed?
Yes, email
How long
documents.
ago?
Month and a half, 2 months after our
Okay,
last
I'll
meeting.
look for it.
Okay, there's that. We talked about when the new boat is online, whether we want to have a contest or something to name it, maybe do a christening, just throwing that out there. We had decided at the last meeting that we wanted to do the First Appreciation Day on April 12th. I had put it on everybody's calendar, so that is good, we got that day. And I'd like to start preparing for that in October. Okay, public comment?
Just one other,
Yes,
under
sure.
members, I know you're not a member, but
Yes.
I talked about the grade update, but I just wanted to say, there's a lot of folks use this part of the beach. I've been talking with our harbor master, talked with Frankie and Chad. There are no swim buoys on the south end of the island to bifurcate between the jet ski people and the swimmers. And that's a short-term dilemma, because they needed to have renourishment finished to figure out the exact distance as to where to put those swim buoys. So I'm told by Chad and from our harbor master that once renourishment is finished, I believe it's a Lee County function, they will put those swim buoys back up, particularly in front of Leonardo Arms. You've got that beach access point, which is heavily used. There's just no swim buoys, and the jet ski people, they sometimes a little ambitious. They look pretty close to the swimmer, so hopefully that will be resolved soon. So that's all.
There are swim buoys in place right now that are towards the north end of the island, but specifically we're all main concentration of the judging what they know or apartments they had, because they're gone right now.
It's on the close. You've probably seen this in any blocks all the time.
They're generally 100 yards out, and
Yes, yes, correct.
and then the jet ski guys will be instructed by parallel ways past that.
Very helpful.
I just had one of the boys wash up on north end of Beach Hill last week, and we had talked about the county about that. Very good job.
Any more member comments? Why is it raining so hard? I didn't really know. That's number one. Public comment? I do not see anything here for public comment. Next meeting's agenda.
What did you see in the Anchorage fight? When is our boarding field festivities for next year? What was the
April 12th.
April 12th.
A week after Easter. That's right, it's Easter's meeting. So I will send out an email to Curtis and send out to everybody to grab some things out. Like next time, we would really like to focus on hearing from Frankie, hearing from Curtis, what's the vision, what is the mooring field budget, how does it look for us to be able to come up with recommend to make that neutral, and then talk about the roles and responsibilities on that document that I sent out so that they can get the ordinance updated in one of those. Good, and we talked about having our next meeting on April 20th at noon. Curtis will check with Lizette, make sure we can have that. This will work, everybody bring blankets.
Mittens, hat.
Is there anything else? All right, who would like to Curtis?
Move to adjourn, well,
I'll second.